And let's just see what happens in this offseason in Jason Light we trust with his staff. And before we know it, it'll be free agency, the draft, and we'll be talking about 2025, guys.
Absolutely. And of course, there's also the return of Gene Deckerhoff at 80 years old.
Mean Gene still has it. Love him. I was hoping for a deep playoff run for him as well. 50th year of the franchise, by the way, coming up. The man is the soundtrack of everything that has gone on, and it's just a thrill to be around all this. And I can't wait to do it again. It's a sour taste right now, even days later. We were coming home from dinner tonight. The wife of the twins and I were coming home from dinner tonight, and we were driving northbound on one of my faves, the Veterans Expressway, except we pay the same as a car payment, I think, to drive that thing every month. But we're driving northbound, and I'm looking over at Raymond James Stadium with the blinking lights on it for the planes and stuff, and going, we're not back there until this fall. It's truly over. It's truly over until we get back for 2025. It ended. But there's a finality for every team except for one that gets to hold the Lombardi Trophy. Some go longer, obviously, go into a conference championship game or into the Super Bowl. But for everybody, it ends this way. And for the Bucs, it was tough because unexpectedly it ended bang at home. But I credit Washington as well, and we'll see if they give the Eagles fits on Sunday. Stay tuned.
And it's mostly the reason why I stayed there over 2:00 in the morning, because I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to camp.
I didn't even check back. You were there another 45, 50 minutes after I left you at about 10 after 1, and they didn't turn the lights out on you. You were still there.
They had Sunday Night Football still packing up, and they're like,
you did not get evicted at 2 a.m. after a playoff loss. But hey, if you're saying goodbye for the season, it's the long goodbye, Harry, like the movie, The Long Goodbye. It was the long goodbye.
There you go.
Night from Peter on the Sports Web.
Yeah, over 2:00 in the morning.
Listen, great to be with you guys. Keep rocking the night. If you need me during the college basketball season, you know where to find me. Buccaneers, free agency, etc. I am around. I'm around, and I'm happy to come on whenever you need me.
Gotcha. Mr. TJ Reeves, the media icon of the Buccaneer Radio Network. We appreciate your time here on the Evolution. All right?
All right, boys.
TJ, have a really good evening, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
all right, we'll see you later.
Let's get him out of here. Let's go out to the phone lines here. All the way from Canada, Mike DeRoche. Welcome to the Sports Web.
Is that Mike?
Hi, guys. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing better. Thank you.
Hi, Mike. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you. Only have one question. What next?
Well, I mean, it's the great question. I mean, we don't know what they're going to do. I mean, Liam Cohen's interviewing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, so we'll see if he decides to take an offensive coordinator job and go from there. And then, of course, it comes down to who could you lose out of that front office? Could it be Spytek? Could it be Mike Greenberg? Could it be somebody else? Does Todd Bowles make some changes to the coaching staff, which I think you could definitely make a case for in that secondary? Do the Glazers step in? Do they go to Todd Bowles and like Lovie Smith and say, we want you to make some defensive changes? Is there a possibility where you take the pressure off of Todd Bowles? And I know he loves to call the defense, but maybe you go out and get a defensive coordinator. And then when all that is said and done and you get your coaching finality, if you will, Leo word, then you go into the combine. You go into the draft, you look who you're going to go and evaluate, and then you got free agency, and then you got the draft coming up. So, the football season is never over. For a couple weeks, you're going to have to endure the fact of watching other teams in the playoffs. I get that, Bucs fans. I get that wholeheartedly. It's tough to watch, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's been a good run this year. It's been a good run for the last 5 years, and you being a
lot of fun this year.
Yeah, a lot of fun and a lot of great excitement. And it's disappointing that it ended like that, and that's not what we wanted. But we'll get over it. And for me, you're in a better place right now. And I feel like somebody died, and they're in a better place. It's not like that, right? The Bucs are in a better place because 2025 there's going to be so much excitement and so many young players. And so much to look forward to. And then on top of it,
does sound like a funeral. It's like we're saying,
it does.
May their season's memory be eternal.
It's a eulogy here on the sports web on a happy hump day. And Ralph, I see you in the background there. Stay patient. We'll get to Turnbuckle Talk. I want to talk to my Bucks fans here. But for a while, you're not going to have to talk about games, but we will talk about rumors. And you know this, Mike. We've done this for years. How many years? I think it's 2019 or 2018. We started this show with Bucks Report, and now doing our own thing, and NSPN and Bucks Life now. It's been a beautiful thing, and Notoriety Sports there for a while for a cup of coffee. We always talk about rumors. We always try to get you the breaking news. It's kind of more difficult now that I'm working my sales job at the office, so I can't just jump into my studio anytime I want to. But we got you. We got you covered, man. You know this.
I just want to say on a personal note, thank you to you, Harry, for the kind words during my struggle.
Brother, we love you here, man. We love you. You're a big part of what the sports web is all about, man. It's always about the lifeblood of, and whether you're in Canada, whether you're in North Carolina or California or Costa friggin' Rica or the UK, you are a major part of what the sports web is all about. That is about the Tampa Bay sports fan, especially the Tampa Bay Bucks fan.
Go Bucks. Thank you.
Go Bucks, man. We love that. Love
Take care,
that.
brother.
Good stuff. Yeah, and I know he's going through some things, man. And you know what? I hope that this show, overall, whatever you're going through, whether it's personal, whether it's financial, whether you hate your job and you come on here and you get a laugh because I'm zinging everybody tonight, I hope that takes your mind off of it, because that's what sports is all about. Let's go out to this guy right here. Let me go ahead and get his intro.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell is the matter with you?
Jim from Ohio, welcome to the Evolution.
How you doing?
What's up, man?
You guys, listen, man, I heard a fan talking about, man, he's been there since day one, since he was, 7 years old or something?
Yeah, 8 years old. I've been here since I was 8 years old. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. He was just saying that, man, he used to have to go watch the games and get us, we get our butts whipped. And, I got in just for Warren Sapp and them, so I seen them get their butt whipped too. So we need to try to keep everything this core together, especially coaches, and give them another year. Stop trying to throw away Todd Bowles, some of these, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, and again, if you
right,
and if you try to throw away Todd Bowles, or you try to fire, the coach of this team, then you're starting over again. And I understand.
Let's not start over.
Right. Who wants to start over again? Who wants to have
a new? He also said we got the youngest, some of the youngest team in the league. I didn't even realize that.
Yes, you got a very young team. Jason Light is responsible for that.
6 youngest in the league. So let Jason Light work this off season, and let's hopefully we can get back and get better.
Right now, as it sits, how concerned are you losing Liam Cohen?
We can keep Liam Cohen. I want to keep both of the coaches.
Okay, so you're not concerned about losing him at all. You don't think he'll take another coaching job?
No, I hope he stays. I don't see why he'd go to another team and he got to start over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah. I think he'll stay, but if somebody throws some money at him, I don't know.
Who's the biggest? What's the biggest need right now? Is it edge rusher? Is it middle linebacker? Is it corner? Or is it something else for this team right now as we sit?
Yeah, we need secondary guys. They keep getting hurt, and then edge rushers.
Okay,
at least one. Hopefully, I don't know if they keep Shaq Barrett.
Well, they could definitely at a moderate rate, if you will, lower price, and I think Shaq would want to play here for, and it's not going to be major money, but he's made his money over time. Is he the same player he was 5 years ago? Of course he's not. But can you use him as a rotational piece? Can you use him as a veteran presence in that locker room to teach these young guys that possibly could be coming in? Absolutely, you could. What do you think about? And I know. Yeah, go ahead.
I think we'll get a couple of young guys in the draft.
Sure.
Let Jason Light work this off season.
That's it. And, you're exactly right.
Keep them veteran guys. I like Shaq Barrett and them. Let them kind of wing them in.
Yeah.
That's all we can do, man. Hopefully, we keep everybody. I'm not trying to get rid of nobody, especially Todd Bowles. I don't understand. If people act like they forget he was in the Super Bowl team and all that.
Well, he's a defensive coordinator of that. You're actually absolutely correct. You're right. So, all right, Jim. Anything else here? All right,
That's
man.
all I got to say.
I appreciate you.
I'm keep Todd Bowles clan.
Yep, there you go. Let me give you your sound effect.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you?
Use that second call if you
Thanks,
want
Jim.
to, Jim, okay? You wanted to hear
call.
his sound effect. All right, Greek, we'll get you out of here on that. So go ahead and give me some final thoughts here on the sports web. I know you want to give out some picks. I don't know if you feel froggy. Maybe we'll do the over-under coming back playoff edition. Maybe.
Under what?
Over-under. You know, the show we used to do about gambling picks and stuff like that?
I don't know anything about gambling.
Oh, no, you don't know anything. How'd you do this week, jerk?
I don't. Yeah, I made a few shekels.
You made a few shekels? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, Pete. It was a very interesting evening. I do appreciate you having me on. A lot of great comments out there, some decent phone calls. I just wish people wouldn't get so into their feelings. Didn't know I was going to create that kind of stir, but you know what? It happens. I see you, Ralph, in the back room.
Yeah,
Ralph,
see you, Ralph.
You're good people.
Ralph. Yes.
I'm going to let you go because I know you want to get there and start talking about my favorite subject, and that is
Turnbuckle Talk.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
but we are going to
Turnbuckle
read. Ralph, you're going to have to hold up because I want to read all these comments first.
Will you bring him in? Let him read them when he's in there.
I can't. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll bring Ralph in. We'll read some of these comments together, and then we'll talk Turnbuckle Talk, okay?
Sounds good. Peter, everybody out there, thank you. Have a really good evening.
Yes.
And you know what? Let's settle down about this fire Todd Bowles thing, because Liam Cohen is not the answer to be the head coach of this team. I hope I made some sense. If I pissed you off, good. Have a really good night.
All right, there you go. Harry the Greek right there. The Greek doing Greek things. Love that. And I know he loves this too. Let's go! In fact, I'm going to put him back in here. Here you go. Let's go! Straight up the suck right there! The Greek curse is over.
I hate you.
There you go. How about that? All right. So we're back. Let's go. I know he loves that. All right. Yes, we got open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams. Ralph, what's up, buddy? How you doing tonight here on the Evolution?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm safe and sound here. I don't know if you're aware, but 2 days after Christmas, there was a shooting in the building here. We had a SWAT situation.
Oh, my God.
And it was a floor down from my apartment. And, but my family's safe here, so we're good.
Well, good, man. I know. Thank God that you're good. That situation was real scary. At the end of the day, it's always great to hear from a friend that's doing great in that situation. I know that you've been very critical of Mike Tomlin. A lot of fans are very critical of Todd Bowles. Where do you stand on Mike Tomlin? And do you kind of relate the same situation to what fans are saying with Todd Bowles?
It's the same thing. Todd Bowles probably isn't going anywhere. I can tell you that. Mike Tomlin's not going anywhere either. He still has 2 years left on his contract. I believe there's some stories out there. His son is in the final 2 years of at the University of Pennsylvania. Rumor has it that as soon as he graduates, which will be the 2 years that Mike Tomlin still has left on his contract, that he's going to walk away after 20 years of coaching. So, we'll see. That's all I can say. And I know the Steeler fans want Mike Tomlin fired. It's not going to happen. Please stop drinking the Kool-Aid that you think he's going to be fired. And you folks down in Tampa, if you think Todd Bowles is going to be fired, I don't think so. I think Todd Bowles probably needs to get some better coaches in there. And as I heard you mention, or someone mentioned there, that, maybe the owner needs to go talk to Todd Bowles and say, hey, look, you need to bring in a quality defensive coordinator and focus on coaching the team, which is what Mike Tomlin needs to do too. So,
all right, very strong comments by Ralph Williams.
It's the same thing, just two different teams. Same.
Well, I would say this. I think Mike Tomlin deserves a little bit more grace because he has done it consistently. Yes, he's only won one Super Bowl? Is it one Super Bowl for you guys?
Yeah, one Super Bowl with Cars players.
well, it's still one Super Bowl, and then consistently he always gets the most out of his teams. Yes, he hasn't won any more than one Super Bowl, but consistently they are a playoff team. But I do understand it. All right, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna read some comments here, and then we'll talk some Turnbuckle Talk. Good evening to you, Tim. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Cole, we came out flat on both sides of the ball. You watched the Washington game. Do you think they were flat, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
No, I think they were competitive. It was down to the wire. I mean, I don't see how they came out flat. I mean, Baker Mayfield always puts up a good effort regardless of the situation. He's a gritty quarterback that should have never left or been cut by Cleveland, and you guys are lucky to have a guy like him. And and Liam Cohen, I don't know. I hope he doesn't take another coaching job. I hope he stays. I'd hate to see Baker Mayfield go through another offensive coordinator and another offense.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a completely great point because it can ruin a quarterback's development.
Yes,
although
absolutely.
I think Baker's comfortable in this offense, but you don't want to see that happen because it's just not good. I can hear it, appreciate it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Now you got to enjoy the soundboard right there. Go Bolts and go Rays now. Absolutely. Christopher Cole still have a chance to win. More money, get a head coaching job. Eric, you continue to harp on this about the money aspect. I get that, but money isn't all. It's not going to it's not going to cover up the fact that you're going to a bad situation. Jacksonville
it has to be
is
the right situation, Peter.
Correct.
It really does.
Jacksonville is a bad situation. The Raiders are a bad situation. The Cowboys are a bad situation. The Jets are a bad situation. Like, I get it. Everybody's, we're going to give him money and he'll go for it. He'll jump. Maybe that's not his motivation. No. Like, I always talk to people about this all the time. Like Jordan Whitehead, right? Going to the Jets. He got more money. Did that necessarily work out in his favor? Well, money aspect, but did it work out for his career? Not so much. And then he came back to the Bucs. So, again, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I understand the thought process of, well, he's going to get some more money and they may overpay him and all this other stuff. Good luck if you go to Jacksonville, because that situation is... And that's what I think about it. Good Wednesday evening to you, Darlene. Absolutely appreciate you.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Tim here. Trent Baalke would scare me to death. I mean, he's a coach killer. He might be interviewing right now. He may be. Blake, absolutely. Bucks basement. If we lose Cohen this offense, you're playing a game of Russian roulette by making the offense a rotating door of schemes. Bulls is going to come out with a dud. And then what? It's a good point. Then we have to restart from scratch. Brand new head coach, OC, and DC. They should have went for it after Washington was offsides on the first drive, the field goal there. And I believe ESPN said, did you think they should have went for the fourth down there, that 4th and 3 later on? Because there's a percentage out there, analytics, 57%. If you are able to go for it, more than likely you'll get it. Did you like the decision by Bowles to go for the field goal, or would you have liked to see him go for that 4th and 3?
Well, it all depends on what your thought process is on the sidelines. I mean, if you think you can get it, you're going to go for it. If you have confidence in your offense to get it, then you're going to go for it. But if you are the type that'll say, okay, I don't want to gamble. I don't want to be a Dan Campbell. What I want to be is a coach that's going to at least know that I got 3 points possibly coming. I would rather have 3 points than have nothing, you can get burned on 4th and 3. You can get burned on any 4th down play you go for. I've seen John Harbaugh in a Steeler game get burned so many times because he tries to go for it on 4th down. Dan Campbell has even gotten burned a few times. You get your chances of getting burnt doing that is big time.
Yeah, it is. And you get no points at that point. You give the momentum back to the other team. Then again, if you go for it, you're successful, then you take control.
Kicker, go for it. Go for the 3 points. If you don't have a good kicker, then you go for the 4th down. I mean,
he's usually automatic. Bucks basement, rather than keeping Cole and finally having continuity on the offensive side of the ball. Bucks basement, it's going to be a huge mistake if they let Cohen walk, because if the offense regresses and Bowles picks a dud OC, he does not fix the defense, who will be fired next season. But again, if Cohen does leave, which I don't think he does, but let's say he does, it will be an attractive position for an offensive coordinator out there because of the plethora, Leo word, of weapons that this team has. So I get what you're saying.
You have guys out there that have been probably got fired because of a coach getting fired. I'll throw a name out there. You got Alex Van Pelt sitting out there. He just he was with New England staff, and Jared Mayo got fired. So he's sitting out there. So you got a few other names possibly sitting out there as well.
Yep. Also, even if everything is fixed, the saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks. What is it going to fix? Todd Bowles' this horrendous game management, 1-score game record. It's a good point. Bucks Basement makes some great points. Liam Cohen should stay in Tampa Bay to head coach. Carissa, thank you very much for the comment. As you have become a regular viewer on this show, we appreciate that. They are on Facebook. Of course, Facebook stars are out there. If you love the content, I appreciate it. Michael Hulk, the other night, 1,000 stars. Sitting, I believe, some stars out there. Appreciate you guys. Tulio, if Spytek goes to the Raiders, he's going to want to pick up Cohen and his coaching staff. It's a great point. They're absolutely going to try to do that, especially with Tom Brady as a minority owner. Also, YouTube super chats are available. So good point there. We'll see how it works out. I mean, that's what you get sometimes when you have a great front office like this Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization has, is, teams start to want to make the other guys their general managers and stuff like that. AWJ looked lost and rusty. He did. The Glazers are going to have to make a choice. Either it's Bulls make changes to the defense staff or risk losing Cohen and starting again with a new offensive coordinator system. KR also says Baker would have to learn another system when he's going to have to break and have some consistency. You say Todd Bowles' job is in jeopardy. Why do you say that?
I don't think so. I never said that.
What says Todd Bowles' job is in jeopardy?
No, I never said that at all. No, I said, is it in jeopardy? That's what I was asking.
Okay.
Said, is it in jeopardy?
Do you think it is? Do you think it is?
I don't think it is. I mean, it could be. I don't know. Surprises are imminent. I mean, people, there's surprises every day. The Glazers could pull out a surprise and say you're fired. You know what I mean?
It's true.
But I doubt it. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think Bowles is going to stay there. Is Bruce Arians still with the organization?
He is in some type of role, consultant role. Absolutely.
I think as long as Arians is there, I think Bowles will be there. That's my thoughts.
Good point. Speaking of the fumble, I believe that
Arians walks, and if Bowles has a messed up season, I think he's done.
Okay. Speaking of the fumble, I believe that McMillan wasn't even expecting the handoff. It didn't look like he was. Tim says if a team didn't have issues, they would need a new coach. You're almost never going to go into a great situation. Tim says Bowles is 61. He's not going to change one thing. He thinks he's doing it the right way. Dave says when you have a good pass rush, it helps the secondary a lot. Good point. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Dustin says what's new that Bowles can bring to the future of the Bucks. Bowles has been giving up passing yards since the Rams NFC Championship game with Brady, NFC divisional game. Of course, remember the blitz. Again, that's on players, but we've seen it with the communication breakdowns and zone defense. And we've talked about it. Can that change? I don't know.
Hey, we have the same problems here in Pittsburgh. I mean, the Steelers communication breakdown. We have the highest paid defense in the league. And look, we can't stop a pass play. We can't stop the run. So
we'll take TJ Watt off your hands. Do we take that? What do you take?
Well, you know what? If you watched his closing press conference, he was quite frustrated. He said, "I want to win, and if I have to do like my brother and try to move on, I might just do it." And he's frustrated right now. He's very frustrated.
All right,
but know what's interesting though?
What's up?
He kind of regressed a little bit this year because there were a lot of teams double and triple teamed him, but there were a lot of teams did not. And at the times that they did not, he should have took advantage of that. And he did. And I know he was playing with an ankle injury. He had, and maybe a few banged up injuries here and there. He had an elbow injury in the Ravens game. But still, I mean, the guy, one-on-one, he's the best blitzer in the entire league. But he didn't show it this year. And a lot of guys didn't show up this year. Minka Fitzpatrick didn't either.
All right. And that's what happens. It's not always on coaching. It's on players themselves. If they don't show up, if they don't execute, as my mom would always say.
But
then
it's
yeah.
up to the coach to motivate him too, Peter, because Mike Tomlin lets these guys get away with too much. If you watched Hard Knocks on HBO, and I don't know if you did, they focused on the AFC North, so the Steelers were on there. I saw Mike Tomlin walking around, players sitting around. He's walking around giggling and laughing with them. You know what? You have a 5-game losing streak. You're about to go into the playoffs on a 5-game losing streak, and you're walking around smiling and giggling and laughing with players. No, to me, that's unacceptable.
Okay. Strong comments there. Bowles has been giving up passing yards since the NFC division. The Bucs have to address the outside pass rush and cornerback positions this draft. Hope Levante comes back for one more season. Devin White not panning out hurt a lot because he was supposed to be eventually the future, but the Bucs have moved on, of course, from him. And now you have to figure out.
Some Peter, the Steelers did what you guys did. You brought back Jordan Whitehead. We brought back Cam Sutton. And Cam Sutton blew it, man. He laid an egg in the last 3 or 4 games he played in. I mean, bad, not running the right routes with the wide receivers, not covering them right in the wrong place where he was supposed to be. That's what happens when you get suspended for 8 games.
Doesn't work out. Russ says, let Baker be a quarterback OC, call his own plays. Russ, I don't think that's going to happen. When Cohen's been good all year, Bowles has been making boneheaded decisions. Of course, you're going to hear about Bowles over Cohen. Christopher Cole, Tucker needed to run the ball some too. Andres on YouTube, thank you very much. So many injuries. Josh Hayes can't play defensive back, no linebacker. I can't blame Bowles on that. Agree. Christopher Cole, defense only allowed 16 points because of that fumble. Andres, you can only coach players so much, but if players don't get it, like Britton Hayes, then as a coach, you're limited. Now, what says Mike DeRoche? Bryson says Bucs fans need to stop blaming the defense. Dustin, why do we blitz all the time when we don't have the cornerbacks to cover? It's a great question, but they also play a lot of zone a lot of the time. Let's face it. The talent on D wasn't there this season, playing with backups and practice squad players mixed with starters. You're going to have communication issues, then outside rushes and making it to the quarterback. It's a recipe for subpar defense. Todd Bowles, I think he says, Ed, sorry, man, but even with our defense being weak, they did make 4th down stop and gave the offense a chance. This loss was on the offense. Russ, should Bucs part ways with Bowles? No. Mike, sign Godwin. That's the other decision they're definitely going to have to make. I will say this. I think that Jason Light and Chris Godwin will come to some type of mutual agreement. And then on top of it, teams may, Godwin is a talented player and he's unbelievable on and off the field. But because of that injury situation, I don't think he's going to nearly get as much as a lot of people anticipated. So I think that
they can work out a reasonable contract on both ends.
Yes.
He's been hurt, and I think that the team knows that, and we'll see what happens. It could work.
And why
out.
would you want to leave this offense? Why would you want to leave Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield and Jalen McMillan? The future is bright. 2 4th down stops, including on Washington's first drive of the game. Dave, I don't want another coaching change. What comes with that? System changes with players. They don't fit the new coaches. System the first year, and then drafting players for the new system the following year. So you put yourself in a 2-3 year wait and see. Russ says Bucs need about 2 or 3 more playmakers. Good point right there by Russ.
Oh, yeah.
Dave says Tampa Bay has some good pieces in place now. If the right ones are added the next season, there will be a great spot to make another Super Bowl run. Christopher Cole, Bucs offense only had 7 plays on their first 3 drives. Excuse me. Russ, can we bring Leftwich back? No, we're not doing that at all.
He's up again for some coaching jobs again. I don't even know what he's doing.
We're not bringing back Leftwich.
How about new?
I don't know what this is. Okay, great. Congratulations. I don't know why you're giving your number here. Jason will get Bowles, his players to improve the defense the offseason. I have faith. Dave, I love the fans that are calling for a total rebuild. Really? Yeah, exactly. Like, what are we talking about here, guys? Total rebuild?
Don't make the mistake, Peter, that the Steelers made. They paid all their money out on defense and didn't pay enough out on offense to get some really good people in here. And, some better people, we have the highest paid defense in the NFL. And we can't stop a simple pass play. I mean,
Jason Garrett to the Bucs. No. Still got to play and beat teams outside the division.
Job.
Yeah, exactly. Deion Sanders to the Bucks. No. MH, there are more Todd Bowles caliber defensive coordinators. Bryson says no. Dustin says 6th in sacks is a cool stat, but look at the teams most of those sacks came against. Russ, Daniel's most athletic quarterback in the NFL, better than Lamar Jackson. Russ, I don't know what you're smoking. He may be athletic, but he's not a better quarterback than Lamar
It's
Jackson.
his first year in the league. I mean, and the only
Russ.
reason he's a good quarterback is because of Cliff Kingsbury. That's the only reason, you know what I mean? So, I mean.
No, listen, I think he could be as good or maybe better than Lamar.
Right.
But to say he's
Down the
better
road.
than Lamar right now, yeah.
No.
There's a lot of villains in that loss. Absolutely. Dave, I agree with Harry. The end around was a dumb play. Should have gone to Bucky. Dustin, Cohen took a run game that was last in the past 2 seasons, brought it to where it is now, but the Bucks were 6th in sacks. Were the Bucks? Yes, the Bucks were 6th in sacks. Or should I say dangerous, not dumb? Eric, should we fire Todd Bowles? Detroit will have trouble with Jaden Daniels, as every team will. McMillan didn't know he was going to get the ball there because he looked back when he felt the ball. Baker took the blame because he didn't want to throw the rookie under the bus. Eric, Detroit will whip their butt. I believe you're saying I got Rams, Chiefs, Super Bowl prediction. Bryson says I agree. MH, who replaces Liam if he leaves? Good question. I think we should get rid of Baker. What? Huh? Why?
Well, I tell you what, man, these guys are tough. I thought Steeler fans were tough, man. Look at it. Oh, my
41
gosh.
touchdowns and 16 interceptions.
I wish
and
we had Baker Mayfield.
You want to get rid of Baker Mayfield.
How about you?
What else can I do?
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
Are you serious? Come on, Eric.
Too much ocean air or something.
Oh,
you know?
Harry must be so happy the soundboard is working. I know he is. Bing and Cousins. Eric, we could have beat the team if we did just had our defense healthy. We would have been in the Super Bowl. Again, you know, there's things that happen. They're not. They had a dynamic offense, defense, not so much. Can we also say some of the fans have been spoiled the last 5 years? Great one. Harry, what drugs are you smoking? Brady's not escaping the pocket. Trevor, hell yeah. TJ's in the building. Greek needs a drink. Dave, Sun Devil Dave, I agree with Peter. Tom Brady in 2024 would not be successful with this offense. He can't extend plays like Baker Mayfield. Correct. Roger, the evil eye on the laptop. Eric, I know you have to pull it up every next season. Pull it up every. I don't know what he's saying there. I appreciate the success of the Bucks. 10 years ago, we were the laughing stock of the league. Now we're constantly in the playoffs. I'll take it. Damn it! Absolutely, you will take it.
Yeah, baby.
Absolutely, you will take it. Huh?
Real quick here,
Yes.
you know, Boise State, their offensive coordinator this year, it was Dirk Cutter. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah,
Dirk Cutter was their offensive coordinator.
Dirk Cutter. Yeah, that worked out, Bucks fans. Again, Liam Cohen, Dirk Cutter, different situation, but the problem is you don't know. Like, I love what Liam Cohen's done for the offense, but he's an offensive coordinator. Now you're going to have to be a head coach. Now you have to do more than just call.
I wouldn't want that responsibility. I'd stay as an offensive coordinator and enjoy it.
Best chance in Super Bowl to run it back when Liam wants to stay. Bowles gets another chance with a young defense becoming vets, and defensive problems are fixable at edge, cornerback, and outside linebacker. MH, good comment there.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't know what to make of Lawrence. He shows flashes, but then looks terrible. Plus, he's not going anywhere because he signed a few more years. Would Cohen want to take the chance? Exactly, right? TJ says sitting. Mike D. Roche, why would Cohen leave the Bucks, a winning organization? Trevor, Peter is firing shots tonight. I am firing shots tonight. We'll go out to Sun Devil Dave. Sun Devil Dave, welcome to the evolution here, talking about the Bucks, and again, getting into Turnbuckle Talk. So what's on your mind? We got the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams. Go.
What's going on, guys? Great job as always.
Yeah, great job.
Happy New Year.
I'm totally bummed and upset, but I think overall, I don't know what these guys are talking about. There was a comment about getting rid of Baker. Seriously?
Well, there was a comment there. I think somebody's trolling because they're not going to get rid of Baker Mayfield after having 41 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. That's completely and totally asinine. What are we talking about here? Come on.
Did you see?
Stop it.
Would you rather have Baker than Herbert or Darnold or Wilson?
No, I don't want any
You
of
see
those
all those guys in
guys.
the
I'd rather
playoffs?
have Baker Mayfield. I don't care about Sam
Yeah.
Darnold. I don't care about
Right.
Russell Wilson. Sorry,
I
Ralph.
would have took Baker over Russell Wilson any time of the day.
Everybody would have taken. And Justin Herbert at this point, everybody talks about how great he is. But what did he do against the Houston Texans? Not so good. Yeah, not good.
You look at
He's done
look at the
nothing.
landscape. I mean, wouldn't you have Baker over any of these guys? Whether it's
Right.
even Derek Carr. I mean, you're looking at
No.
the division.
Yeah, Derek Carr. No, I don't want that either. No.
Any of the. I mean, just looking at anywhere. I think Baker. I think he's top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
Top 5, right?
Right.
Overall, I mean, as far as
Absolutely. With the numbers
stats,
and everything like
completion
that.
rate,
Yes.
extending plays,
Yes.
touchdowns,
Yes.
completion percentage. I mean, look at him. I mean, yeah, he had one miscue. If you look at his QBR and his rating for the game, I mean, he looked really good. I think he had like a 110 overall rating. His QBR was like 62.
Yep.
I mean, overall, I think he managed the game really well. I mean, if you look at the last drive, I mean, the defense gave up a 2nd and 10. They gave up another like a 3rd and 6. They gave up some big chunk plays to that guy Brown.
Yeah.
One
Sound like
excellent
Tom Brady
play.
chunk plays.
Yeah, chunk plays. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all chunk plays.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
That's all he says on the
that guy Brown. He did nothing for like all year, and then all of a sudden, the last couple of weeks, this guy comes out of nowhere.
Yep.
This
De'Ami
guy
Brown,
Brown.
their wide receiver. Yeah, it's been a big time key
So-
for them. And it's the reason why this Bucs defense is not good, besides Dion McCollum. As soon as Jamel Dean went out in the game, it was a
Right.
different defense, whether you like Dean or not. You put Josh Hayes there. I'd rather see Isaac Hayes or Rutherford B. Hayes than Josh Hayes. So,
He was an ex-president, wasn't
yes, he was.
he? Okay.
Yes,
Are you
we
doing
did that
Turnbuckle
tonight with
Talk or no?
TJ. Yes, TJ threw that out there tonight. So I'm going to steal it from TJ.
Can I call back for Turnbuckle Talk?
Absolutely, you can. Yes, we'll get into that in just a moment. I want to,
God bless.
Dave, appreciate you as always. I want to continue to read these comments because I don't want to neglect you guys. Ralph, be patient. Peter's firing shots tonight. Alex, stop being cheap and investing in good players. I feel bad for Canales. I was firing all kinds of shots tonight. Mike DeRoche, head coaching jobs don't come along as often as you think. So take the shot sometimes. Trust me, living in Charlotte area, being close to the Panthers, the fans hate the owner in the dumpster fire. He's made the team. He is Dan Snyder 2.0.
This guy sucks.
Dave says, thank you, TJ. Preach. Mike, Dean must go. Injury prone. No, Dean is not worth the money. Too many injuries when healthy. Gets beat too much. Not enough INTs. Bryce Hill, injury was huge. Good one. For most of the reason, the secondary looked lost because of the plug-in players not feeling comfortable knowing the defense and thinking too much. Dave, I called the Atlanta games the past season the meet the ball in the middle game. Sean, Baker Mayfield absolutely trucked Bobby Wagner. He does make mistakes, but constantly gives the opportunities for winning the games. We lost. Biggest says, hey guys, was watching with my dad the other day. I subscribed from my dad's account. You're welcome, Peter. And he happened to see us on the pregame show, and now he's tuned in. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Pop. As always great to have more subscribers. Let's go out to Cam Decker, Fire Bulls. Big again, but I had to go jump on my laptop so I can comment my 2 cents. Greek, Liam Cohen deserves credit for this offense. The emergence of the running game, Bucky helped a lot. Good comment. Dave, Lions, TJ. But even changing the scheme of running game midseason from, I believe, zone to gap paid off in spades. TJ, the fumble was absolutely the turning point in the game. I felt as soon as it happened. Cam, the Greek equals koala bear. I don't know what that means, but once again, bringing absolutely nothing as always. Let's see here. Where's my Adam Sandler? There it is, right here. I heard Caleb Williams painted Greek flags on his nails. That's a good one. Biga says if it's a playoff game where everything is magnified, turnovers usually decide the outcome, just like last year with the Lions. I agree with you, Greek. That play call is at the juncture. Bulls equals garbage. Dave, I'm never gripe about being in the playoffs. It was fun. It could be worse. I could be a Jets fan. Cam, the Greek equals biased, I think. I don't know, based. What is this? What is this? Biased or based? What is this? Based? What is
Greek
that?
equals based. I don't know.
This guy sucks.
The spot of the fielder stopping them on 4th and goal at the 2 was risky to begin with. Of course, the players need to execute, but coaches need to think about the scenario when play calling. Peter equals Chris. Don't know what that means. Christopher Cole. Teams are going to wait until the Lions are out of the playoffs so they can contact Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn in the building. Cam Decker, the Greek, showed the crib. Mike D. Roche, I wanted to ask Mr. Reeves on how he approaches a player during a jarring loss. So we'll ask him that next time. They got them in the week because they had the bye, didn't they? Let's see here. Biga says it's totally reversed the momentum if the Bucs go down on that drive. Score, they take control of that game. We give it right back at what the 10-yard line, asking the defense to hold Jaden tough. Mike D. Roche, Bucky Irving reminds me of work done. Absolutely. A very handsome man. Thank you, Cam, to the Greek. I think Shaq will be back as a situational player. No over-under without the Legion. Biga out of the end zone from the inside of the 10 of the 10. 2 consecutive possessions after a quick change is a big ask. I think our starting quarters were out of point as well, but that fumble beginning and the end, let me rest my fingers. Thank you, Biga. Appreciate that as always.
Yeah.
Knight Harry, Peter for coach. Tulio, the team needs to sign a veteran number 1 defensive end to bookend with Yaya. I'm with you about looking at Myles Garrett. Mike D. Roche, sound effects are back. They are. Tristan, shaking my head. Chiefs and Steelers have dominated the AFC for the last 25 years. Guess the teams that have won the AFC when the Chiefs and Patriots didn't win. Very good, Tristan. Christopher Cole was talking about the first drive of the game. Tristan, we tend to forget that Leftwich had a top 5 offense before Canales and Cohen. That makes 3 consecutive coordinators to be successful in Tampa. This narrative for Cohen is so inflated. Marine, Ron, Bucks, fantastic. McClary, I don't think you can again allow another offensive coordinator to walk and start again. Biga, well, the Cowboys kind of surprised everyone with the firing of McCarthy for a 3rd time. Mike D. Roche, how much money can the Bucs spend on the current and free agent players? We'll get into that, but they will have some cap room. I would take TJ Watt for sure. Marine says, dude, go start a sexual I don't know how to say it. And what is it? Innuendo comedy show.
I cut some of these guys off of my show.
Yeah, it's Cam. I still say with KJ Britt's play, Devin White in sideline to sideline speed and ability to affect the quarterback, the blitz was missed. That's right, I said it. Who's going to check me? I mean, we will check you because of the lack of effort. We will check you because he played when he wanted to play. He was injured. On top of it, he was terrible in coverage. He regressed. We could have had him for cheap after the Eagles released him. They didn't want him. Another irrelevant comment. Sean says JTS needs to be let go. He's an absolute bust. I believe Tristan is sending me some stars. I believe he sent it again. So thank you very much. Bucks will be dangerous next year with cap space. They need to sign a veteran quarter. Maybe Stephon Gilmore, Jalen Ramsey, or even Sauce Gardner. Dave, Sean Thornton, correct. Biga. Jaden Daniels is Lamar Jr. right now. Noah, Phil Bowles is fighting an uphill battle. Old school defense doesn't work in the new era of the National Football League. More things to discuss when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but let's get to Turnbuckle Talk here. First and foremost, we didn't get a chance, but the Netflix, the review there, the coming out for WWE, what did you think of that whole thing? I thought it was underwhelming, to say the least. Again, the big time story was Hogan gets booed. You have The Rock is not even in the character of the final boss thing, comes out the next night at NXT and says, I'm going to go and do my thing. But really, it was uneventful. I will say this. I love the match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Besides that,
that was the match of the night.
Right.
That was the match.
Besides that, I didn't think it was anything special.
No, I didn't either. And this week, cutting off a half hour early or 25 minutes early, I didn't like that either. I mean, you know, they were supposed to go to 11 o'clock and 10:30 they were done. So, you know, I don't know if that was a network problem or something like that, but I like the Netflix graphics, the way that that it's presented on there. It looks a lot different than what it is on USA. Things like that. I do like that. Netflix seems to have everything right. I hope so, because they got the NFL and they got, WWE wrestling and boxing.
They better have a right. They better
Yeah.
have a right, because if they don't have a right, it'll be a complete and total show.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like the Jake
And
Paul, Mike
WWE will have
Tyson.
egg on their face.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
Mike D. Rose says WWE Netflix is a bust. Very boring back-to-back weeks. It must improve the card. I agree. I completely agree. And I thought it was better this week, even with the cutting down to 2.5 hours. I like the cutting down. I don't need 3 hours of wrestling, especially when you have
no,
SmackDown
I
Friday
thought they were gonna keep Raw 2 hours, and then they moved it to Netflix, and it was 3. Now it's 2.5. I don't know if it'll go back to 2. Who knows?
Let me go out to
SmackDown's
Sean
3
here.
hours now, so.
Much love, Peter H. Blake. Win, lose, or tie. Always my Bucks. I love it, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Continue to tune in as we get into this offseason. And, of course, playoff football is going on, so we'll talk about
We're
more.
also simulcasted on my YouTube and Facebook page.
Love
too.
that. Good stuff. All right, so Penta, he had his arrival this week. What did you think of his arrival? I thought his promo was tremendous. I didn't know he had that promo ability. I felt like AEW was hiding that. Great promo, although he did supposedly receive some heat backstage because it went over. They wanted a hard out. He went over the time allotted. What did you think of him and his arrival to WWE?
I like it. WWE, Motor City Machine Guns, Penta. If his brother comes and that manager they had in AEW, which I hear they're supposed to be coming as well. I hear as soon as the Hardys contract's done with TNA, they're coming to WWE for a retirement year or retirement kind of thing. I hear that. WWE's absorbing all these quality talent. My question is there enough room for creative to put them in there? That's going to be the question. Because look at AEW, look at WCW. They had too many chiefs, too many cooks in the kitchen, and you saw what happened. And if the WWE starts having too many cooks in the kitchen, the recipe isn't going to be very good.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You're completely correct about that. But they do have lots of talent right now. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, he reported an update about Penta's arrival. He wrote that Penta's WWE deal had been finalized for weeks, and after his AEW contract expired on December 1st, the report noted that Penta was originally slated to team with Rey Mysterio and face the New Day, but the plan was changed. Sapp cited sources who claimed that the merchandise release ahead of the debut was a happy accident. Also, according to Sapp, Penta was backstage throughout the day. He was not hidden. Sapp also confirmed PW Insider's report that Penta's segment went overtime as his promo went longer than expected. The report noted that it was unclear whether this led to other segments being cut. Also, one higher up had not heard of any heat on Penta for his segment going longer than expected, and they said that any heat should be on whomever decided that they needed to be a hard out on the show. Furthermore, Sapp wrote that WWE was trying to wrap up the live portion of WWE Raw in about 2.5 hours. Sapp cited talent who claimed that they did not hear any heat on Penta for his segment going long, and the roster was said to be happy for him. And of course, everybody would expect him to face Rey Mysterio. He's a talented wrestler. His brother, Rey Fenix, is a talented wrestler. I would expect him to be in WWE. I mean, how excited are you about this wrestler joining this organization right now?
I love it. I'm glad he's here. AEW, I guess they ran out of options with them with his contract. And, later on, we could talk a little bit about AEW. I noticed that they've been having all their Dynamite events at that Hammerslick Ballroom or Hall in New York. They haven't been moving it around like they used to. And they're doing what TNA does and what NXT does. They stay in one place and don't get out too often. And I know the pay-per-views, or they have one coming up in Australia, and then they have another one in Texas in July. But I think they're staying put at that Hammerslick Ballroom, it looks like. Because the Cons are working on Jacksonville Stadium, and I guess they can't use that little amphitheater they have in the back there. So I guess that's what AEW's up to these days as well. They're doing like TNA, staying in one place, and that's what they're doing.
All right, and that is the Hammerstein Ballroom. Would be the
Hammerstein
old
Ballroom or Hammerschlag or whatever it's
yes,
called.
that'd be was that the old ECW arena, correct? In
Yes, it
Philadelphia?
is. Yes. No,
Oh,
that's in New York.
That's in New York. So Hammerstein,
I think it's in New York.
is it EC? Was that the old? Is that ECW or was that where they had Raw for so many years?
That's where they had Raw at one
I
time.
thought that was Raw. Okay,
Yeah, when Raw first started, it was
right.
it was there.
I find New Day Gunther, especially Gunther, very boring characters. Penta looks like a WCW wrestler. El Parka, right there, good stuff. Mike Ron says, I don't think Ralph had any clue to whom I was referring to. So go ahead and say that in the box there, or you want to call in. Dave says, lost interest in wrestling. It seems all the wrestlers' gimmicks are the same compared to the years past. Do you agree with that?
There's a lot of people that are saying that these days. A lot of people I talk to tell me they talk about Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino. They talk about Ultimate Warriors, Sergeant Slaughter. Most people have got out of wrestling after the late 80s, early 90s. They got out.
Yeah.
So, I'm watching it.
Mike D. Roche says, in my opinion, AEW is bingo hall wrestling. Damn. That's in the ECW days. And I think ECW was actually better because they actually had storylines to their wrestling. That's the problem with AEW. It's not talent. They have the talent. It's just the storylines. Like, why am I watching? Why am I watching this match? Why are you doing this match? In the first place, there's no explanation at all.
That extended tournament where they had all the brackets and the red division or the blue division or whatever. They didn't need to do all that for that Colonial Championship. WWE, what I like when they do tournaments, it's simple. They have the matches every week on their feature shows. AEW just whoever's in the orange bracket, and then they get a second chance, and they get points and. It's totally stuff like that is boring to me.
Well, there you go. It's Ralph speaking his mind tonight here. The bodyguard of the Berg. Love it here on Turnbuckle Talk. I'm your host, Peter Blake, talking professional wrestling, WWE, AEW, whatever else is in right now, whatever you want to talk about.
Matt Riddle.
Well, there you go. TNA with Matt Riddle. Open phone line if you want to talk about that. 727-255. 0391 and 727-255-0391. I see the heel mark out there is watching. So hopefully, let's see. Mike D. Roche says, why can't Flair Hogan just go away? They are so irrelevant. We'll get back to that. What do you think about Hogan being booed? Because for me, it's more of he's in California. It's a political state. Then again, he did make some racial comments in the past. People still hold that against him. But I want people to understand this, that if not for Hogan, you don't have professional wrestling at the pinnacle of where it's at. You don't have it on Netflix. So I can understand both sides of it. I kind of think at this point, WWE should have Hogan as a heel. Where do you stand on Hogan?
Hey, Pensman, thank you for watching.
Go ahead. What do you?
Sports
What's up, Pensman? What do you think about Hogan being booed?
Well, people don't forget things, and Hogan, like you said, if it wasn't for him, that he's the talk. I mean, as I mentioned before, everywhere I go, and I mentioned that I talk wrestling, people say I stopped watching it when Hulk Hogan was done. That's exactly what they tell me, and and it is a little more entertainment than wrestling these days. And, with some of the characters and the setups and the goofy names and things like that at times. But, back then that was wrestling. Roddy Piper, Ric Flair. That was the time when all these guys were together. And I do agree with the fact that perhaps it's time for them to, get away and let someone else carry the torch,
Good point. I mean, I think there are wrestlers that are carrying the torch, but they continue to bring back those legends because they seem like they're popular. Ric Flair seemed like he's popular.
Woo! He's still packs them in. Goldberg. They still bring back Brock Lesnar. I hear he's going to be in Royal Rumble. Rock's going to be in Royal Rumble. So here we are.
I'd be really surprised if Brock Lesnar ever is in a wrestling ring again. But funnier things have happened. There's still those allegations with him, McMahon, and Laurinaitis. Let's see here.
Let's open up all his butcher shops all across Canada.
Texans will beat the Chiefs. Okay. Christopher Cole, you hit on it. The storylines have gotten boring, making the build-up to big matches not exciting. And Pinsman says CM Punk. Absolutely CM Punk. I would expect to see him in some great storylines there, especially against Seth Rollins. And there was a report out there. I don't know if you saw this, but supposedly the Shield was supposed to be his bodyguards at the time. And it was he picked Hero over Roman Reigns. They wanted Roman Reigns, and then they ended up not even doing it with CM Punk. Let me go out to Sun Devil Dave using his second call here on Turnbuckle Talk. Go ahead. What's on your mind tonight, boss?
Hey, real quick, I wanted to get your opinions on what The Rock will be doing for WrestleMania 41. Is he going to just take a step back because he's so busy with TK Holdings?
I hope not. I really hope not, because I think that would be disappointing. You put this storyline out there where he has something with Cody. He beat Cody in the first night of WrestleMania 40. Then he comes out after Cody wins the championship and says, "You broke my heart," gave him something like a watch, I guess. We don't know what that's all about. You have the final boss. You have, all this storyline there with Roman Reigns now, having being the tribal chief. I would be so disappointed if The Rock wasn't a part of WrestleMania 41. Ralph, where do you stand on this? Because a lot of people have said the reason why he was out of character during the Netflix thing is because he's not going to do anything. Dave Meltzer reports he's not going to be in WrestleMania 41. I can't fathom it. It doesn't make any sense. The final boss needs to be a part of WrestleMania 41 in some aspect, whether he's wrestling Roman Reigns or he's wrestling Cody Rhodes. It needs to happen.
Or even John Cena. I mean,
right?
You got Cena making his retirement thing, and I think one of his final matches, perhaps at WrestleMania, could be against, The Rock. I mean, The Rock could be fighting anybody. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, even CM Punk on that matter. John Cena, who knows? I mean, we'll see where Rock goes. We don't know because, he's got so much on his plate. He's got that UFL football he's involved in. He's got that, TKO movies. He's involved in a lot. So we'll see where his schedule takes him.
We'll definitely see where it takes them. And I, I was disappointed with the Netflix, but I think he's just, trying to be the Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I'm the shareholder trying to put on a good face. I'm drinking, tequila, my tequila in the background with, Cody after I beat you up and made you bloody and talked about Mama Rhodes and all this other stuff.
Thanks for that comment as well. Yes, having issues with subscribers. So.
Oh, well, we'll try to help you out with that, my friend. Like and subscribe to Ralph Williams there. What is it? RW Media.
Yeah, Ralph Williams, RW Media.
There you go. So we'll help you out with that. But with that being said, then the next night he comes out and final boss, character. So I think there is something to it. I do not think anybody knows what The Rock and WWE and Triple H are going to do for WrestleMania 41. And like The Rock said that night, just kind of sit back. But I was disappointed that the character and the storylines were kind of put off to the side for the Netflix reveal. Just my opinion.
I don't know if you heard this story or not. I read a story.
Hold on,
Shawn Michaels is supposed to be working with Triple H now, and NXT will be ran by Scott D'Amore.
Yes, I heard that. So that's great. That's interesting in itself. Shawn has done a
Corey
phenomenal
Graves
job.
is part of the fray. I'm friends with his dad. I got to talk to his father.
Don't you steal my thunder on that, because we're going to get to that in a moment. But go ahead, Sun Devil Dave.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Netflix overall, like production value, the graphics. I mean, it felt like you're watching a pay-per-view. I just liked the whole everything about it. I was happy Ripley won the title back. Stratton, of course, won her title on her side. The way they're pushing the different new belts on the women's division with the Intercontinental and with the U.S. Or United States Championship. So a lot of great things happening. Also want to see what's going to happen with the Wyatt Six going to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Kind of announced that on the whim. We'll see who they're going to feud with on SmackDown. They got 3 hours there, so gives them a little bit more time to work with instead of being constricted by the.
If the new bloodline is still around, I'd like to see him feud with them.
Well, that would be the dream match scenario, and you could see something like that maybe in WrestleMania, getting them over. I think the Wyatt Six has done well.
They're not used enough. They're not
used enough. Yeah. It's Bray Wyatt. The brother's done a phenomenal job, but it's not the same. I'm sorry. It's again, it goes back to why should I care? Like, why do I care about the Wyatt Six? Like, what wrestler makes me care?
You got to give the audience or the fan base here, Peter and Dave, something to really look at here. I mean, the Wyatt Six is the same thing as Bray Wyatt. When Bray Wyatt passed, we thought that was all going to go away, and then all of a sudden, here comes his brother with this stuff. Bo Dallas.
Yeah,
and then now he's doing the same thing, and it's just it's the same old, same old.
Yeah, got some great comments in here too, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying, I think the first couple of months when he came out in June, July of last year was more of like a tribute to Bray. But now you have to expand and say, okay, what's the end result?
What do you do with it? You've done this. Now, what do we do?
Nostalgia's over. Let's get to some good stories.
Correct. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Because it's good for the first couple of months, and it's amazing and everything like that. They're revealed, and it's nostalgia. But then what do you do with it? What have you done with it? What are you going to do with it? And why should I care about it at this juncture? We'll see. Dave, what else?
Great. I think that's it. I'm going to go on a record. I'm going to say Stone Cold, CM Punk, WrestleMania 41.
Wow, Stone Cold and CM Punk. How would you like to see that, Ralph Williams?
That would be interesting, but I don't think Stone Cold's going to come back. I don't know.
Well, I think Stone Cold still wants to wrestle. It comes down to what WWE is going to give him, what they're willing to give him. But CM Punk versus Stone Cold would be amazing. But you have this ongoing storyline with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I mean, are you done with that, Sun Devil Dave?
Well, I mean, I think they kind of, I want to say, shot their load, so to speak. I think they could have saved that match for a little bit later, maybe before. I know they wanted to push the big Netflix kickoff, but I mean, they could do what they did with him and Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah.
WrestleMania, they had like 3 matches.
Sure.
I believe. So maybe they'll have one at Royal Rumble, maybe have another one and then culminate WrestleMania. We'll see.
I could see that happening.
Different directions.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know where they're going to go with it, and they're going to have all 3 of them in the Royal Rumble, McIntyre, Punk, and Rollins, and then of course Cena said he's going to be in it too, and so on and so forth. But I love it either way, whether it's Rollins for 2 more matches, whether it's CM Punk and Stone Cold, whether it's CM Punk and Cena. I mean, there's so many directions to go. I mean, it's a win-win situation.
It is a win-win situation, and supposedly Malachi Black will be headed back.
That's what I hear. I hear he's coming back.
So there you go.
God bless you guys. Thanks again.
God bless you, brother. Right. Appreciate you with the 2 calls there.
Oh, yeah.
As all, it was a great job by Sun Devil Dave. Open phone line 727-255.
I got you a new viewer here, Pensman Sports. That's my buddy.
Love it, man.
Yeah, he's from Pittsburgh too. So.
Okay, all right. Let's go out to Tony here. Tony Edney, big time Bucks fan, I believe. WWE sucks now after Stone Cold retired from it. It's been pretty good. It's been on a comeback here, Tony. Give it a chance.
Since Vince McMahon left, it's been on a comeback.
Agree. We'll definitely work on the viewers. When does Raquel Rodriguez turn on Liv Morgan? Good question by Mike D. Roche, all the way there in Canada. How do you feel about this storyline? Because it's eventually going to happen where Raquel Rodriguez turns on Liv. When does it happen? Does it happen around WrestleMania?
Well, it's just like any other sport, Peter. Winning is everything. Liv Morgan no longer has the title anymore. So now Raquel Rodriguez is like, well, I don't need to be here for you. You see what I'm getting at? And, she might just go on her own and stab her in the back and say, hey, you know what? It's time for me. Time to look out for me, not for you anymore. And, you lose your luster when you lose the belt, just like when you lose the championship, you lose your luster. And so that's exactly what's going to happen with this thing. Look at the Judgment Day. I'm hearing stories, Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom and all of them are all going to get kicked out. And there's going to be a restructure. And it's just been a mess with them, but we'll see where that goes. I mean,
we'll definitely see where it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Good question there, Mike. So it usually happens they usually build this up. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but who knows? Maybe it does happen around WrestleMania. I think you got to build it up to make, again, it worthwhile watching. He was complaining he was too nice, too mean to Cody Rhodes. Writers need to make up their mind. Christopher Cole, is Nia Jax going to roll after losing her title to Tiffany? Of course, it's Tiffy time. What did you think about Stratton finally cashing in the Money in the Bank?
And I called it. My wife is a witness. I sat here for that SmackDown, and I said to my wife, Tiffy's going to do something with that case tonight, and guess what? She did it.
There you go. She did do it, and now Nia Jax was going after the mommy right there. I'm trying to think of her name.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley. So, and then also went after Bayley.
So don't feel bad.
Yeah. All right, Mike DeRoche, Wade Barrett out at Raw.
Yes.
We'll get back to the comments in a moment, but that was the other big story of the week here. You got Cody Graves, and I thought this was a work at first, and then it turned out it was not a work, and you got more insight on this than I do. But Cody Graves tweeted out on Monday night, had a rant about losing his dream job as an in-ring talent, moving to commentary, where he became effing awesome at it before being told you're not famous enough for your own job. Of course, now Bully Ray had something to say about this. He said, and he offers perspective, of course, on his show. You are hired as an announcer, all right? We have 3 shows. You as an announcer are hired to be put on any of those shows we want. End of story. Same thing with the talent. Yeah, you might be on Raw one night. You might be on SmackDown the next night. There's a chance you're going to be on NXT again. If I were to look at it that way, then I would have to say that half of my career was a demotion. A demotion is when they ask you to take less money. Bully explained that a true demotion to him was losing championships, not being involved in primary storylines, and working dark matches. He also referred to Devon Dudley and himself leaving WWE in 2005, explaining that the company asked talent to take less money due to financial issues. And after working there for 6 years, they felt they were being unfairly demoted. It remains to be seen if Graves will return to NXT or if WWE will choose to leave him off of television for the time being. What do you make of this whole situation? Because I thought it was a work. It's not a work. There's definitely some heat here.
So did I.
What's going on? What's the inside?
Well, I have to talk to his father, who I spoke with the other day. He runs a wrestling company here in Pittsburgh. And I attend all his matches, all his events. And I can talk to him again and come back next week with some answers, because when I spoke to him, it was before this happened. All right. And so therefore, I could probably find out if he comes on my Wrestle Talk show on Tuesday. I could probably ask him that question, because he would be able to give me an answer. But I do know Corey Graves and Booker T do not get along. I know that, and they almost came to fisticuffs at one time, because you know how Corey Graves, with some of his jokes, offend people sometimes. And I know what's his face? The one that's an announcer in the back now. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name. He can't work with Corey Graves either. And it seems like he has an issue with him, and he has an issue with Booker T. And yeah, it's just, I don't know if he's a difficult person to work with at this point. But I do know that he doesn't get along with Booker T. And if he was going to be forced to work with Booker T, I think he wanted out because of that. They don't get along at all. I mean, they never have. And, Brian Saxton, that's his name. You don't get along with him either. Why do you think Brian Saxton's in the back? So, I mean, and those are the things that are going on. And I think WWE might have had enough. I can't say it's true. Might have had enough and said, hey, look, Corey, if you don't like it, hit the road. We got other people, Well,
you do got other people there. You got other talented announcers. Namely Pat McAfee.
Joe Testator was moved on. I actually thought when he lost his job on Raw, I thought he was done. I thought Corey Graves was going to be on SmackDown with with somebody, but it didn't work that way. It looks like so.
No, it definitely didn't work that way. Let's go out to Pensman Sports. Rock and Cena would be awesome last match, or Cena or Brock Lesnar. Uncle Howdy, thank you, Pensman. TSW, I'll trade you Russell Wilson for Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
And I would say,
How about no?
there you go. Menza, and anybody else, I don't know what he's talking about. Only joking.
I know who that is.
Allen and WW. You know who that is?
I'll tell you on the side. I know who it is. Okay.
Should I read his comments? Because it doesn't seem like he's okay.
I know who that is.
Okay. He asked the question. I've always wondered why sitting in a bathtub makes farts smell worse. Well, I don't know.
Like I said, I know who that is. So,
okay.
And Chelsea I will tell Green, you on the side.
Okay. Chelsea Green, women's United States champion. Any theories? No idea what you're talking about. Silly comment. What the hell does yeet mean? Sounds ridiculous. Yeet. And then he says, perhaps the heated water raises the temperature of the fart and increases the fragrance. All right, man. Whatever you say. So, how do you? This grave situation. How do you think it's going to work out?
Which one?
Graves as the announcer.
Oh, Corey Graves. Yeah. Well, yeah. Actually, his real name is Jim Polinsky. That's his real name.
Okay.
His father's name is Daniel Polinsky, and his he also has a brother in wrestling named Sam Adonis, who wrestles in Europe and comes into town for his dad's wrestling matches. Because as I mentioned, Corey Graves' father, Dan Polinsky, has his own wrestling company called the Pros of Wrestling, and I've been to his matches. I'm there all the time for events. I have interviewed his wrestlers on my show, on my Wrestle Talk show, and he also, I take pictures and send them out and everything else. So with some of the guys that he has, I just think that it was a power struggle. I think it also was the fact that he don't like to work with Booker T and NXT. He probably had to take less money. And I don't understand why the WWE would think he's not a good talent. I thought he did a really good job at being the play-by-play guy when they keep moving Cole all over the place. I think next Cole's going to be handling catering or something after this, because he's been moved around so much. But to move him down to NXT, I think is embarrassing to him. And I think TKO needs to get their head examined, or Triple H or whatever. And maybe he had a falling out with Triple H and management. I really don't. Until I can get a grip on it from his father, I really don't know. I mean, I'll have to reach out to his dad and find out what happened. So.
Well, we'll see how that works out. But it's an interesting
I do know
situation.
he still lives in Pittsburgh here with Carmella. I do know that. He lives in a suburb called Monroeville. So.
All right, let's go out to Pensman here. Don't read his comments. Just ignore him. Giraffe comment. Ignore it.
Pensman knows who he is too.
I will read this one because it's pretty funny. I have a belt, but it just keeps my pants up. Well, thank God for that. Well, nobody wants to know if you got a belt or not. I got your yeet right here. Pensman says, TSW, if you want to put Giraffe on timeout, you may. That's your choice. That's okay. No problem. Okay, finishing up with the WWE, of course, Saturday night main event. What did you think, by the way, of Saturday night main event, the first one they had there a couple weeks ago?
I thought it was pretty good. It was good they brought it back. I did not know it was going to be once a month. I thought it was going to be every Saturday like it used to be.
Right.
And, I like it. I think it's a good idea to put it on national TV. It's good that they have the outlet of NBC. To do that. And, it's great because you get people who don't have cable, who just have a converter box, that are actually able to start watching wrestling again. CW now has NXT, and, now Saturday night's main event on channel or NBC. And then you have Wow Women of Wrestling on also on the CW too. So,
You do. And you also have NWA. On the app, I believe. Are they on the app still?
Yeah, they're not on CW's regular network because of some violation of some protocol that they did, and Billy Corgan got hauled to the carpet on that.
They decided to do a Coke gimmick where they were acting like they were snorting coke on a pay-per-view. It was the dumbest thing of all time. Less money sometimes means better conditions. Okay, I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah, no, I know what they're saying.
More main events at WrestleMania: Punk, McIntyre, Austin, Rollins. That's good stuff there. Like it. And of course, Monday nights or Saturday night main events coming back to San Antonio, Texas on January 25th. Dave Meltzer is going to be attending the show and also talks about Jesse Ventura being a part of it and says that also there may be somebody else in the building that would be interesting. In fact, he says on Wrestling Observer Radio that Hulk Hogan is scheduled to appear on Saturday night's main event, but questions how WWE will use him at the show after being booed on Raw. So Hogan's going to be on that show, the January 25th one. When Hogan was shown on the screen in the building, they booed like crazy. So whatever. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Do they put him in front of the crowd, risk him being booed, or does he come out and maybe the crowd doesn't boo? The other interesting one is Hogan and Jesse. They will be in the building. Of course, Hogan and Ventura famously dislike each other, mostly due to Ventura trying to unionize the WWE wrestlers in 1986 when Hogan revealed the plans to Vince McMahon, who shut down Ventura's efforts. However, Meltzer believes there will not be any issues between them at the show, especially with both being in their 70s. He also noted that Hogan was jealous when Ventura became the governor of Minnesota because he felt that his longtime rival had surpassed him in the real world. What do we make of this whole deal with, again, Hogan, Ventura possibly meeting up, Hogan being a part of Saturday night main event? Do they boo him? Does he go back does he go to Hollywood Hogan? Because to me, this is the perfect opportunity to turn Hogan heel.
I was just that thought process came in my head, Peter. You great minds think alike.
Yes.
I was thinking of that as well. I think some of the best times of Hulk Hogan resurrecting his career was when he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan in WCW. His gimmick of Hulkamania ran out, and then after WCW went on and they tried to rebrand the NWO into WW, it didn't work. And then he was Mr. America, and then he went back to being Hulk Hogan himself, and it just got stale. And now if he comes back as Hollywood Hulk Hogan because of the boos, that could happen. That thought process was in my mind as well.
Yeah, and I think you could do something with it with the wrestlers of today. I really do. I think you can make him a manager. You can make him a guy that just makes the crowd mad. You could turn on somebody he's not supposed to turn on. I mean, there's so many things you can do with Hogan and just use the crowd. But I don't know if he's going to get that same response. Who knows? Maybe the crowd does turn on him, and you never know. Because I remember WrestleMania 17, where it's Hogan versus The Rock. And coming in, Hogan is a part of the NWO, and he's Hollywood, and he goes to Toronto, and it's like he's Hulk Hogan all over again with the red and yellow, and he's getting cheered. And during that match, they had to change some of their plans because people were booing The Rock. You just never know. That's what comes out of it. Pensman says, will LA Knight compete for a championship belt against Gunther? It would be a prime opportunity for that to happen. Does Jesse Ventura have Parkinson's? He shakes a lot during interviews. Just wondering.
Could be.
It's a great question. I don't know. He's in his 70s. Lots of wrestling, lots of damage over time. Who knows? TSW, do you miss John Gruden as a coach for the Bucs, or happy with the coach you have? Happy with the coach that we have here, even though John Gruden for a couple years there, of course, won the Super Bowl, had a couple of playoff appearances. But no, I do not miss John Gruden as a coach, because as a player personnel, I don't think he's very good at all developing young players. Ventura deserves respect. Served our country is a Navy SEAL. Let's finally leave off with this in AEW, with Jon Moxley assessing the importance of storytelling in professional wrestling. Maybe he passed this on to Tony Khan. Somebody needs to pass it on to Tony Khan. He says storytelling is always needed. It's essential. It's non-negotiable. It's a vital element to wrestling. You need to hook. How much more do you enjoy sports when you have an investment in who the person is or the story of the season? Wrestling is no different. You're not going to pick up a book that has a bunch of descriptions of random objects or events, there has to be a story or a thread that will take you on a ride. I feel like this is calling the kettle black here in AEW. Of course, Moxley's Death Rider storyline will continue this week on Maximum Carnage edition of AEW's Dynamite in his hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio. Hobbs is the latest, of course, Powerhouse Hobbs, who earned the opportunity by winning the Casino Gauntlet match on January 8th at Dynamite. Hobbs is the latest in the long line of AEW stars who want to step up and take the company out of Moxley's grasp. But on tonight's Dynamite semi-cast, he will also try to make Moxley his bitch. What do you think of Moxley? And just basically
it's John Spudin as gospel. I mean,
basically describing the problems of what the reason why AEW and the ratings have suffered. I love AEW and what the idea is. I loved it at the beginning. Now I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't either. And I'm tired of, like I said, some of the same old. They're starting to get like WWE. They had the same old rivalries that dragged on for too long and it got boring. That's what AEW is starting to do now. Like this Hook and Christian Cage. I'm getting tired of that. I mean, do something with that. Make these rivalries last a short while. Don't make them too long, because then they start getting boring and out of control. The Don Callis family, that's a waste. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. Now you got Chris Jericho as ROH heavyweight champion with his learning tree. I mean, I like Chris Jericho. And, you got MJF back, trying to get back into the championship fold. He's picking on Jeff Jarrett now. So I think they just, don't know how to be creative. Tony Khan has to get somebody in there that understands the creativity of wrestling, especially in the industry that he's in. And he just doesn't have anybody like that, I don't think. You know what I mean? He needs to get somebody in there, somebody that's really good. Maybe a Bruce Pritchard. I don't know. Bring somebody in, somebody that knows the business, that knows it well, that they can guide him to do that. Because some of the guys they got now can't guide him. I don't know.
Yep, it's definitely been a problem for this organization, and you hope
this
they stick
is what
around.
happens when you have a rich man who's a wrestling fan and doesn't know the business. This is what happens to you.
Well, he's too close to the wrestlers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it comes down to. And I love the fact, I love what Tony Khan is doing for wrestling to a certain degree, bringing guys in. I love the fact that there's competition. I don't want it to go away. And in order for AEW to truly survive going forward here, they have to improve their ratings. They have to improve the storytelling, like Moxley has said. Let me read the rest of these comments, and then we will get out of here for the night. Talking Bucks and WWE until midnight is totally awesome. Thank you very much, Christopher Cole. Appreciate you as always.
Yeah.
Ralph can talk about Tristan Jari when you have time.
Well, I'm going to do that on Tuesday. Tune into my Sports Corner show on Tuesday. I'm going to have Matt Venzel come on from the Penguins, talk about it. So
okay. Gruden got credit for Bucks' success. Dungy created Gruden just fine. Tune the team. Dungy broke ground. I haven't heard about Tristan in a while. Tony really needs professional advice. I think that's
he does.
And Jericho from my hometown, real name Chris Irvine. His dad was an NHL player back in the day. Absolutely, he was. With that being said, final thoughts here. Ralph Williams on Turnbuckle Talk. 3-hour show. You guys don't tune into the sports web, and I'm tired at this point. So go ahead and give me some final thoughts.
Yeah,
Ralph.
I am too. I got to get to bed. I got to get up in the morning. So, But anyway, my final thoughts are it's good to be back for the first show of my appearance for the new year. And I'm trying to increase my my subscribers. I'm on YouTube, Facebook. I'm also on Twitter X. Please follow me on Twitter X as well. And I'm on Tumblr and LinkedIn platforms. Also, don't forget to catch my triple header of Ralph on Saturdays. And every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., the Ralph Williams Show. This Saturday, my guest is Tony Moreno, former Republican candidate for mayor of the city of Pittsburgh. And then also at 9 a.m., from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the External Bum Show. We talk about bums in sports. And we also talk about other sports topics. Ralph Williams, Scott Morganroth, Leo Haggerty from Amped Up Sports here, and Jeremy Ballrick And then we're also on the Huddle Sports Network and the 4 platforms of YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platform as well. And then from 2 to 3 p.m., 1250 a.m., 92.5 FM. Again, 2 radio shows on a Saturday, the Ralph Williams Show and the Sports Corner Radio Show. The Answer, 1250 a.m., 92.5 FM. Sports Corner Radio Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. So there you go.
Got all that quiz afterwards. Ralph Williams, appreciate the time here on the Evolution. All right.
It's always good to be here, Peter. I'll see you next week if otherwise. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good stuff there, my friend. So we'll wrap it up right there. Thanks a lot to all the guests tonight. Mr. Harry the Greek, of course, being the co-host. Mr. TJ Reeves, the media icon. And, of course, Ralph Williams right there. We'll read this final comment, and then we'll wrap it up for the night. Over 3-hour show. Good chance we can keep Liam Cohen. Absolutely great shot with the landscape of the National Football League, the jobs that are being put out there. I would say a 95 to 99% chance that Liam Cohen comes back as the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake, and do 3 things. The roommates are sleeping, so we'll keep it down. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, including you Bucs fans, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As always, guys, even though the Bucs season is over with, it's never over here on the Sports Web. Go Bucs.